This is the Expect Awesome Podcast, your source for expecting and achieving awesome with a God-powered confidence. And now, motivational speaker and Integrity Doctors President, Mr. Ryan K. Mall.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am so thrilled to be with you. I hope you are having an awesome and blessed week. And I'm here today to hopefully kick that thing up a notch. All right? I want to make things better. I want to make things awesome. And to do that this week, we're going to talk about a word that I think doesn't get enough credit. And that word is efficiency. That's right, efficiency. What are you doing right now that's keeping you from getting to awesome? That's holding you back and could be more efficient? Because over the years, being in coaching, one thing that's really fascinating about coaching, everybody that, when we get new clients that join, when we get people back and they need help with stuff and something goes wrong, most of the time, we hear from clients that say, what's the secret? What's the new big idea? They want some big grand gesture or grand concept that's new that nobody's ever heard of, nobody's ever done, and that's somehow going to fix it. And then we say, well, let's look at some things and let's fix some things. And every time it gets met with this kind of, oh no, we already got that. We already do that. We already know this. No, that's not it. We already know this. This is, I don't need help with that part. I'm good there. And the irony is that 9 times out of 10, the problem is that one of those steps along the way has become inefficient. That we've got sidetracked. And many of those sidetracks come because as you grow in business, as you start to change, you will start to get pushback from people. And that pushback will mean that you will start to make exceptions on certain rules and certain steps in order to accommodate certain people. But what happens is that over time, that accommodation towards that one person ends up happening more often, and sooner rather than later, the accommodation becomes the rule, and the rule becomes a distant memory. In other words, we traded efficiency for perceived comfort. And that's where things get off. And that's where when we start thinking, well, I already know how this works. We're just going to do it how we know how to do it. We're just going to do what we think is the right way to do it. And then we start overlooking things that could be a game changer. Because I'm telling you, I have seen practices brought to their knees or some of the smallest things, much like a splinter. Have you ever gotten a splinter before? If you get a splinter in your hand or your foot, you step on something, you rub it wrong. Have you ever realized how tiny a splinter is and how big an impact that dumb little thing has? It can make it where you don't even want to walk anymore. It can make it where you don't even like, oh, I can't touch this. Oh, and it's just, your finger's so sore and it throbs and you just can't, I can't take it. Because you're thinking this is a big deal. It feels like it's a big deal, but at the end of the day, it's one tiny little splinter. It's not a big deal. It's something small. And sometimes the smallest slivers of wood can cause the biggest problems. Let me give you an example of this. This is a fun example of efficiency that came up this summer. I felt like once it happened, I was like, I have to talk about it. I have to tell. This is too good not to share. So we live in Florida. It's about a 30 to 40 minute drive to the beach. So we go to the beach every now and again, not as often as you might think, but we go quite a bit. And when we go, we have a certain setup we like to do. Because when you go to the beach isn't a place you just show up for 10 minutes. Okay, it isn't just a place you drive to and then you go for 30 minutes and get back in the car and be like, that was nice. No, it's an all day thing because it's a dirty thing. It's gross. You're gonna get sand all through the car. Everybody's gonna be wet. Everybody's gonna be tired. You're gonna be hit by the 100-degree sun all day. So because of that, we have a setup. We have all of this stuff in our garage that we take with us in order to create a kind of home away from home on the beach. So we have a big cart. We have this big cart that we use to cart the stuff around. We got a cooler. We have a rolling cooler. We have certain bags for food. We have this big tent. It's like a gazebo, and it's great. It's got different sides and zips, and it pops up instantly. It's amazing. We've got these sandbags we put around the legs to make sure it doesn't blow away. We have a sound system. We have chairs. We have just a special side umbrella. We have some battery-powered fans. We have all this stuff to make it almost just like our own little VIP booth right there on the beach. And it just so happened almost every time we go to the beach, it's my wife gets the kids ready, and then I load up the car and get it all set up and ready to go out there. Well, it just so happened that my sister-in-law was in town, and my wife decided, hey, it'd be fun if we went to the beach, and she picked a day where I'm working, so I couldn't step away. So she was like, oh, it's no big deal, I'll do it. So she does the thing. I'm working. I can see out the window in my office. I can see the garage window. I can see her loading up the car. I see her grabbing all the stuff, and she then comes back in my office and she says, "Hey, we're all loaded up. We're headed to the beach. We'll see you later." And so she goes to the beach, spends the day. I finish working. I'm kind of making something to eat, and they walk in the door, and my wife looks absolutely wore out. Just like, uh-oh, what happened? And she's walking like she can't walk anymore. She's at the end of the rope. She's at the absolute. And so I follow her back to our bedroom. I'm like, oh, what happened? What went on? Were the kids awful? Did they run away? Like what was she's like, no. She's like, kids were great. The day went great. Everything was fun. I'm just exhausted from the setup. I'm exhausted from putting up the tent and then taking it down. It was a lot. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, it is a lot, but you've done it before. We've gone before and you've helped me and do it. What? Did the cart not work? She's like, oh no, the cart worked great. She said it's a lot. It's just so heavy. It's just there's so much, just so heavy. I don't know if I'm going to do that again. I don't know if we're going to go to the beach, you're going to have to go. I don't think I can do this. I'm just sitting there like, what am I missing? There's got to be something I'm missing because we've done this every time. And I'm not going to act like it's not heavy. There's some heavy thing. I mean, it's a tent. There's chair. I mean, there's stuff. I mean, it's heavy. But I couldn't pinpoint. So I was like, okay, so what was it? Like, did the kids ride in the car? Like, did they get in the car? She's like, no, I don't know. She's like, you got this tent? You've got the sandbags, and you've got these chairs. I'm saying, well, the chairs, they're not terrible. And the tent's awkward. I said, the sandbag, I mean, those are nothing. So that's not a big deal. And she's like, well, I don't know what you mean by not a big deal. She's like, I get it that you're big, but to me, they're a big deal. I was like, but the sandbags don't weigh anything. And she's like, they weigh like 20 pounds a piece. And at that moment, I realized that my wife has done something that I couldn't have predicted, that I would have said wasn't possible. But it happened. And it nearly ruined this trip. And it nearly ruined her view of the beach. Because what she did was we have a bin in our garage, and it has two things in it. It has sandbags. And they're actually called production bags is what we use, that like you see like in my, like there's lights. So you see like I have lighting on me. And when you do production, in order to make it so nobody trips over the lighting, you put sandbags, these production bags, on top of the bottoms of them so it weighs them down so they can't be tripped over. It makes them more stable, makes it a lot less dangerous, especially if when the kids come running in. It's a pretty standard thing in production. You have sandbags. So we have this bin full of sandbags. It's got a bunch of sandbags that are full of sand. And then there's a bunch of sandbags that are completely empty. And so I look at my wife and I say, babe, did you take the full sandbags or the empty sandbags? And she says, why would I take the empty sandbags? And I said, well, because you're going to a place that has an abundance of sand already there. And you could instantly see the light bulb go off. Instantly see the, oh no. And she was like, you mean you take empty sandbags? I said, of course I do. I take the empty ones. I just get on the ground. I scoop them into the bags. And then I put them on the gazebo. And then when we're done, I just dump them out. And I put the empty bags in the cart. And she said, I hauled around 80 pounds of sandbags. And even saying it now, I'm laughing. I had to really bite my lip on it. It was because I really wanted to laugh because I couldn't imagine it that way. I couldn't have done it. I know that I'm going to a place made of sand, so I don't need to bring sand. I don't need to add sand to it. What I need to do is just take the bags and use what's there. That's the easy part. See, it's way more efficient to not carry 80 pounds and just fill with what's there than to lug around 80 pounds in a cart with that you don't have to carry. And this is where I see so many times in offices. It'll be little things that are happening, little tiny mistakes that are made that can make all the difference. My wife at this moment was ready to never go to the beach again. Not because the beach is bad, not because the beach wasn't a great day for everybody, not because it was a horrible day and it went badly. It went perfectly. Everything couldn't have gone better. But she had one little piece of the puzzle that she did differently that made it worse. She added a splinter. She added her own splinter to the deal. And that made it not enjoyable. So I want to ask you, when you're working on your stuff this week, when you're looking through all the things going on in your office, what splinter are you dealing with? What is the one thing that you're still holding on to that you think is the right way, that you think is okay, but your coach has been telling you, no, it could be done more efficient. No, it could be done better. No, if we could just fix this, but no, this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. This is how I like it. This is what I'm used to. And you just go through all these things and you're just holding on to stuff to hold on to stuff. You're just being stubborn to be stubborn when you could be shown that you're carrying around 80 bags worth of stuff when you could just carry around none. Where you could just make the process easier. Where you could just make everything more efficient. See, you're going to find that efficiency is a lot of times the answer to achieving awesome. That the thing you're missing isn't something huge, it isn't something big, it isn't something that is out of your control. It's something that's very, very small that you're overlooking. And I've noticed one very simple thing. The small things are the things that always tear us down. It's never the big. We can handle the big. We can go through big, but it's little stuff. It's the little things that chip away. It's the little splinters that make all the impact. So if you're going to go for awesome, it's time to realize, what sandbags am I carrying? What's the weight I've got that's holding us back? What is the splinter that is in my toe that's keeping us from getting where we need to be? Let's work on that this week. God bless you. I love you. I'll talk to you again soon.
For more awesomeness, visit RyanKMall.com or follow him on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @RyanKMall. Until next time, keep smiling and remember, you are awesome.